Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, greetings. I want to take you back to that sleepy little town outside of Portland, Oregon. First, with the headline here, Estacada City Council votes to remove DEI committee. That's the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion acronym. A lot of us call it the DIE, and of course, the Latin derivative of DEI is refers to God. And so, if you're aware of subliminal messaging, these things do factor into how they come about. But without getting into the weeds about that, let's focus more on the fact that Estacada is taking seriously this issue and how it impacts Scappoose, Oregon specifically, and why I felt it was worthy of uploading this issue. All right, Estacada, Portland's Channel 12 KPTV. At a packed meeting Monday night, Estacada City Council voted 5-2 in favor of moving towards the dissolvement of their DEI. I don't know what you label or call it. It is political, said Mayor Sean Drinkwine. Very political, a hot topic all over the nation, and Estacada is not excluded from that. It's right in the middle. Additionally, those in favor of removing the group said, along with national divisiveness and confusion around its intent in 2025, there was also the possibility of losing federal funding if a DEI type program continued. I want you to pay attention to that statement right there within the first half of the report. Losing federal funding if DEI program continues. We've already seen it on a national level. And the reason I bring this relevance to Scappoose is you have a council person by the name of Santiago who was very adamant about Scappoose having to stick with the DEI program to be in compliance with Oregon's DEI nonsense. And I'm mocking her voice, and I included the word nonsense, but in essence, that's what she said. As nobody goes to these meetings, hopefully you can go back on YouTube and look at the previous meetings and see for yourself or hear for yourself her saying that. Bottom line is, this is not a viable thing. DEI is bigotry. That's all it is. It rewards every kind of group except men specifically, and then it lists them as white men, black men, Hispanic men, and so forth. It is all these white adjacent nonsense things. So those phrases are what goes into the DEI nonsense. And the reason I bring it up is this needs to be addressed to. I always get his name confused. To the mayor, Jim Backus, and the city manager about making similar efforts because at the last council meeting they addressed desires to secure funding, and this is something that needs to be looked at. They have a meeting scheduled for Monday the 3rd around 6 o'clock is I believe their pre-meeting, their executive meeting, and then 7 o'clock. But call the city hall to be certain, or look online to make certain of what time it starts. And of course, you got to be there early so you can submit your name to be able to speak, and they give you 5 minutes to speak. And if this is something that you want to see funding for, whatever the project is, you need to get your butt in there and let them know they need to abandon this DEI stuff if they want to be able to be considered for federal grants and whatnot in the future. Let's continue. The negative impact of DEI at the federal level regarding funds is, I believe, true and legitimate, said John Dolezal, an Estacada council member. However, many in attendance also shared their anger and frustration with the elected officials and their dismissal of what they say is a strategy that has proven result. No, it hasn't. It's failed. Have you walked around Scappoose? It's a good thing that you don't need to have a wheelchair or that your gait is stable. And you know, it's nonsense. The previous assistant city manager was so excited that the sidewalk next to the substation off of Columbia and the dollar amount, and it's like that's all you got for that many millions of dollars was just a, barely a block worth of sidewalk. That's nothing to be bragging about, and that might be part of the reason he's no longer there. I mean, I got along with the guy, but that aside, you know, results, tangible results are what's needed. You walk around Scappoose, if you do it in the last week, how likely were you to walk through a not just a mud puddle, but a intersection that was completely full of water, inches deep? If you want to read the full article, yeah, you can go to their site and read it. I'm not going to waste time with it because it's just political sloganeering, and a woman is saying blah blah blah. And as we've seen in all kinds of metrics, not just isolated to the United States, around the globe, women vote inherently against their self-interest. They have this desire, this internal need to vote to vote in a way that virtue signals of, but I voted to let the treasury be raided and plundered because I'm a good person. No, you're not. You're not a good person for letting somebody steal all the money that had been collected off the backs of those who worked and were taxed. That doesn't make you good. Estacada City Council members are set to vote on an ordinance to dissolve the committee during their next meeting on March 10. However, pressed by residents at the meeting, the panel provided little to no plan on how they would manage these types of concerns moving forward, only that they would be discussed at a future date. I actually think we need to see the smaller picture and get out of the discourse of what's happening at the national level, federal level, global, said Abels. What people think DI is or how it has played out, even in Portland, that's not what is happening here in Estacada. I have no idea what's happening in Estacada. I haven't been there in ages, but I can tell you right now in you know Northwest Oregon, DEI has no place. It has no value. It is specifically designed to give contracts and job placements to people who do not have the skills, the abilities, the merit. The acronym DEI. People mock it as didn't earn it. Didn't earn I it. Didn't earn it. And if you got in there and you're busting your butt and you're doing a great job, then you should be fine. You probably, you'll be all right. But the bottom line is, this was nothing more than a means of bypassing the success system of getting results from, contracts and employees. It has to be abandoned. Scappoose deserves better. They want better. But if you want to get grants to get work done, the previous council president, Greason, lamented having to go to Portland to be able to sit on a sidewalk and get drunk. Well, and the wigwam refusing, to upgrade its outdoor tent, blah, 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 and how much more fun it would be able to get drunk on the sidewalk on Highway 30 in front of the wigwam. But if you want those dollars coming in to beautify 30, especially approaching 2026 for the 250th anniversary, 1776, 2026, 250 years, you need to make your voice heard at the city council meeting, whether it's on the 3rd or on the, what is that, the 17th, or whatever the next meeting would be. But let them know, hey, why are we letting Estacada take the lead on something that Backus and Miller could easily take the lead on for Scappoose that is smaller and would actually see some benefit from having done so.